Good morning, you guys. I'm here today to talk about my results from using Differin, or Adapalene as this is known. This is the 0.1% cream. I have been using this cream, or I've had this on prescription for 10-15 years, and so I'm lucky enough to have it on repeat prescription. I had it for acne, and so I used it mostly on my chin, and it did definitely help. But more recently I've wanted to try it for aging because I didn't get on with Retinoid. And normally when I say that, people will, give me suggestions on you need to start slow, or you need to put it on after your moisturizer, or many different ways of using it. And I have tried it for years and years. I didn't just try it for a few months. I tried it extremely slowly building up. I tried it using a lot as per a research study. I've used it in a lot of different ways and it just hasn't worked for me. And I don't mean it didn't work because my skin was just dry and flaky. That was something that I didn't enjoy from Retinoid, but I just didn't see any results, even looking at a year apart. I'm sure I've done a video where it was 1 year later. I just didn't see any improvements. Now, I do know that I might have looked a lot worse had I not used Retinoid, but I would like to test that theory by not using Retinoid, or certainly not using any type of retinoid for a long period of time. But before I did that, I thought I would give my Differin a go, being as I had it on repeat prescription. And this, a lot of people believe that Adapalene doesn't work for aging, but it has been shown to work for aging. It's just not as well researched and as well proven as Retinoid. So I started using this for the test purposes in January this year. I took a photo of my face before I started using it. I use it all down my T-zone, all over my cheeks. I wanted to see if it would help my visible pores. I used it on my chin to see if it would help with those little white lumps under my skin. And what else? I put it along my eyebrows, under and above. I started off using it once a week, but my skin was fairly used to this, so I quickly moved up to using it twice a week, and this is a 0.1%. I didn't have any major issues with any dryness, flaking skin, certainly not the same level I got with Retinoid. So from that point of view, this would be a much preferable one to use. If you feel that you want to use Retinoid but you can't stand that flaking skin thing, because to me that was difficult to deal with anyway, my makeup just looked terrible, then this one might be for you. So I've been using it for 6 months, and I took photos at the end of the 6 months, and that was before I started using the LED mask, just in case anybody says, oh, your results might be from, the LED mask might have had an effect. It didn't, because I stopped this in June. 1st of June, I took a photo of my face after the 6 months using this, and then I started using the LED mask, and I haven't used this since. I did notice some differences from the LED mask, as I said to you guys, but it was within the 30 days of using the mask, and I hadn't been using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, I've got a before and after picture, the one I took in January and the one I took beginning of June, and I'll tell you what I see. You can't see in the picture, but I can tell you that it has made no difference to the little white heads, the tiny white heads in the crease of my chin that nothing has ever worked on. I have tried Retinoid on them, I've tried this Differin now, I have tried all sorts, salicylic acid, blah blah, because I've had them for years and years and years. It's nothing that anybody can see. I can only see them in a magnifying mirror, so it's not that big a deal. It's just interesting to me whether or not they work on that. You can't even see it without any makeup on, like I said, it's only in a magnifying mirror. Looking at these pictures, I would say that my pores are more visible, if anything, on the after photo. The after photo is on the right hand side, so it definitely hasn't worked for pore size. I would say that actually my lines look softer in the left hand picture. Again, I would say that my lines look a little bit more pronounced in the right hand side, but it looks like there might be a little bit of more light on my face on the right hand side, so that might have affected things, but I can see the lines and it certainly hasn't improved them. I don't feel like it's done anything in terms of, rebuilding collagen or elastin or anything in my eyelid area. You can see that my eyelid, I think it looks worse actually again in the after picture. This is what happened when I used Retinoid. My eyes did actually look worse afterwards when I specifically targeted the eye area and used it twice a day, a high strength twice a day. Somebody, in fact a couple of people have commented on that video saying this is not what you're supposed to do, but they've obviously not watched the video, because there was research came out that flooding did work. but obviously not for me. What else did I say? So I was putting it around my eyes. I guess you could say, no, I was going to say it looks a bit brighter on the inner eye, but I don't think it does. I don't see any results at all there. Like I said, in fact, if anything, I think my skin looks worse in the second picture. And then after that second picture, I started using the LED mask and I felt like my skin started to improve from then. So I think that's all there is to talk about in those photos. I think that is a fail. This is a fail for me. It just didn't do anything for me. I think retinoids overall are just not going to work for me. I'm using the Gran Active Retinoid 2% emulsion from The Ordinary. This has a tiny amount of retinol in, and for some reason it is the only retinol that doesn't do anything crazy to my skin. But even after using this, I think I'm giving up on those type of products. I like this, I just enjoy the feel of this as a serum. I don't think Gran Active Retinoid is anything amazing, and I think that my skin is just letting me know and I'm finally realizing that tretinoin is just not for me, or retinoids are just not for my skin. And I'm actually quite pleased with that, because although this didn't cause me too much problem, like I said, with dry flaky skin, I could still feel that this was doing something, in terms of I could feel when I'd used that a couple of days afterwards, I could feel a little bit of stinging around my eyes if I put just any kind of eye cream on, or if I used my lactic acid, I could feel it a bit more. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how things work out for me in the next kind of 6 months, if you like, with using the LED therapy lamps and masks, and also using niacin, because I've now, with that niacin powder, I've just done that video, I have got a good way to use niacin regularly. With those combined, I'm interested to see how my skin is with those and the absence of any retinoids. In fact, I'll probably leave this out for the next 6 months, so I might not end up using that because it'd probably be gone off by then. One thing I would say is, this is not me saying that you shouldn't use it. I will still recommend to anybody that asks that you use tretinoin if you can. If you can get your hands on and you can afford tretinoin, then I would say go for it. I don't know where to recommend getting it in the UK. There is a subscription service from, is it Skin Store? Somebody does a subscription service. I've never used it. I got it, I can never remember the website I got it from, but if you put Obagi tretinoin in, that's how I found it in the UK, and I had to have a telephone kind of interview, if you like, to get a prescription. It's not as easy to get in the UK as in the USA. But if you can afford tretinoin, I'd still say use that. You know, somebody recently asked me about the lines around her mouth. I said, what can I use for that? And I'd still recommend using tretinoin, not right up on your lips, because you need to use it, you know, and allow it to travel. But just because it hasn't worked for me doesn't mean it won't work for you, because the overwhelming evidence is that even with this, that they do work. I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disorder, and that can definitely affect my skin elasticity, collagen production. All of that is involved in the disorder that I have, and so it may be that these things are just never going to work to help me reproduce collagen, because I have faulty collagen already. In fact, some things might be the complete opposite. I might find that, because I remember when I was younger that anything that said it was for sensitive skin, I could almost guarantee I would be allergic to it. Now, years later, I think that that's because they put fragrance in things. But I used to find that so ironic, you know. So it may be that tretinoin really does, or retinoids really do make my skin worse. They just don't work with my faulty goings on in my skin. So yeah, that's everything. Like I said, it's still something I would recommend for you to try, because it has worked for many people on YouTube, and you can see their results. It's definitely worked on people's hooded eyes, but just not for me. So thank you very much for watching today. I'll list all of my makeup in the description, and I'll speak to you again soon.